Hello everyone, this is Jessica Parazu. This is my final portfolio presentation, July 23rd, 2019. For my topic, I chose Does frequency of sex affect divorce rate? My variables were frequency of sex and marital status. The questions that were asked for both variables in this paper were about how often did you have sex in the last 12 months and marital status of the first person. I struggled to find information about how the two variables can affect one another. However, I did end up finding some good information. A study done by Janice and Janice found that a major reason for divorce stemmed from issues of sexual relationships, including a partner that is too demanding or when one partner prefers sexual gratification in other ways that just aren't appealing to the other partner. And those who reported having excellent sex lives rarely considered sexual issues as grounds for divorce. What is normal in terms of sexual frequency? According to the article, What is the Normal Frequency of Sex? The varies depending on many factors. Only 2% of single men reported having sex 4 or more times per week, while married men reported at a rate of 21%. About 5% of women aged 18 to 24 reported having sex 4 or more times per month or week, while 24% of married women reported having the same amount of sex. Age was a big factor in frequency. However, women over 70 reported having sex 4 or more times per week at a rate of 25%, and age was not a deciding factor for men. When looking at the frequency tables to the right, you will see that 2,867 respondents of marital status. The frequency shows that 1,320 responded as married, 273 responded as widowed, 473 responded as divorced, 121 as separated, and 609 were never married. There was a total of 71 that were listed as NA or DK. When looking at frequency of sex, the table states that 439 responded as having no sex in the last year, 178 answered once or twice in the last year, 216 answered once a month, 274 reported 2 to 3 times per month, 244 reported weekly, 271 reported 2 to 3 times per week, and finally 90 reported as having sex 4 or more times per week. When addressing the mean, median, and mode, we will see that there was a valid 202,796 respondents for marital status of first person and 1,712 for frequency of sex in the last year. The mean, which implies the average, is 2.44 for marital status of the first person and 2.51 for frequency of sex. The median, which is the middle number, is 2.00 for marital status of first person, 3.00 for frequency of sex in the last year, and the mode, which is the value that appears the most, was 1 for marital status of the first person and 0 for frequency of sex in the last year. When looking at the pie chart, we will see that the majority of people who answered for marital status was married, followed by divorced, or followed by never married, then divorced, then widowed, and finally separated was the smallest. When looking at frequency of sex in the last year, we will see that the majority was not at all, followed by 2 to 3 times a week, weekly, then 2 to 3 times a month, then 2 to 3 times per week, and finally 4 or more times per week, which was the smallest piece of the pie chart. Here's the crosstabs, which I'm pretty sure I did wrong because I had to recode it. For my chi-squared, I chose chi-squared because my variables were nominal. My alternative hypothesis was there's a significant difference between frequency of sex and divorce. My null hypothesis was there was no significant difference between frequency of sex and divorce. My alpha was 0.05, and according to my table test statistics, my asimp sig was 0.000. Since the asimp sig is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis, which means that there is a significant difference between frequency of sex and divorce. And therefore, we would know that there is a connection between lack of frequency of sex and divorce. How does this fit into the literature? Like I said, I really struggled to find information that connected the two. There was a lack of that. There was a lot for one or the other, but not together. So I feel like this sort of bridges a gap and gives us a little bit more insight on frequency of sex and divorce. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their week, and I enjoyed this class.